Hello, everybody, and guess who's back? It's the Bird Brothers. We're back with another show that Condor picked, and we're very excited to talk with you about it today. Condor, how are you doing? And what did we watch this week?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, we watched Black Clover.
What?
What?
Well, it can't be Black Clover. You don't like Black Clover.
I
You
mean,
don't usually sound this
I
excited about
said it was fine. It was very basic, but that's what you wanted to pick.
But
So that's
Falcon, you gave it a 5. A 5. You drink that coffee.
Yeah, I will drink coffee. I drink coffee all day, every day. Okay.
That's right. Except for that one time when you didn't.
For that one time when I did it. Yeah.
Yes, we watched Black Clover. To be more precise, we continued Black Clover from our previous one. I think I don't know if I mentioned it, but basically the thing I'm going to be doing is every other choice is I'm going to be choosing Black Clover until we finish it, because I really want to watch the whole anime. I actually very interested in the whole premise of it. So that's going to be the thing. Instead of doing it like every my choice, so we wouldn't get bored of it. I thought every other choice would be better, so we could see more animes and other stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Be cool to have like a complete anime, like a really long one too. Maybe eventually we'll do One Piece.
Maybe.
That we're not.
Who knows?
That's gonna be hard to do.
It would be hard just because of how long those episodes are and how much padding it is. We would really have to.
And then there's all the filler.
I mean, we could just skip the filler. We could be like, we're only doing
some
story.
of the filler has like important bits in it. Like
like G8 does. That is what it's called, G8, right? Where they like land in the Navy base. I think that's called G8.
That's not filler. That's filler.
Yeah, I said G8 did. That's when you're referring to filler.
No, I was just remembering some like in the beginning. There were some episodes that are filler. Man, imagine watching all of One Piece in one day. I think it's possible only if you have like 50 TVs and you play like each episode on a TV and you're just watching them all at the same time. That's the only way.
That would be miserable. Anyway, when we last watched Black Clover, we watched the first 3 arcs of the show. And this time we watched the 4th and 5th arcs of the show.
Woo!
Woo!
I like these are my favorite arcs so far. This is what really hooked me onto the show when I watched it for the first time.
They're definitely better than the last ones. They're definitely better than the last ones.
You could definitely say that the quality is going up of the arcs. The fight scenes are going good. Everything's just being better as it does. The beginning gave you like a good feel for it, and then we're just getting to like the more actiony parts, the more story driven parts. With that being said, today's episode will be a bit spoilerific, because obviously we're not going to just be like, oh yeah, everything's still the same or not, because that would take 1 second. We're going to like go a little bit in depth to each arc to say what we liked, what we didn't like about it. But first we're going to talk about the characters. So if you want to stick around for the characters, feel free to stick around. All
right. And heads up, Asta, pretty much the same. We're not going to talk anymore about him. If
you actually, I do want to say one thing about him. Okay. I tricked you.
Oh, man.
I personally feel like Asta has not really changed much from the beginning. I mean, it's only like a few days ever since, but he hasn't really gotten stronger. I guess he did learn one thing from Yami. He learned how to use ki, which was funny, by the way. That was pretty cool. The ki. But like strength wise, he's still like the same. Like we all know he's really strong. Like he has like the muscles. Probably other than Yami, he's probably one of like the buffest guys. But I personally feel like he hasn't got like any new skills or anything. Maybe that'll change in the future. Maybe. I actually don't know, because the next arc after arc 5 is actually the arc I stopped on. I stopped like halfway through it.
Okay.
So we're getting to the content I didn't get to.
Ooh, fun.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe let's see if my opinion will change about Black Clover next time. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No.
But basically, Asta hasn't changed. But he's still Falcon's favorite character.
No, that is false. And Noelle didn't change too much. She has a little bit of growth, but that's more when we're going to be talking about like favorite moments and stuff. I feel like we'll talk about that a lot there. So we're not going to include her in the character talk right now either. Which means the first person we're going to talk about today is God.
Me!
I mean, we can talk about you if you want to, Condor. But
I'm wearing a JoJo shirt. I did it just for you, Falcon. I know how much you love JoJo.
Yeah, it's my all-time favorite.
That's right. And that is why we're watching JoJo every single day.
Can't get enough of that JoJo. What's his name?
You can hear the death in his voice.
Yeah. I'm going to start. His name's what, like Jamtaro or something?
Jamtaro. It's Hamtaro, actually.
I know. We should watch Hamtaro one week.
I don't know how I would be able to find that. Is that even findable? Oh my god.
Probably somewhere. They released DVDs in the US. We could track down
I'm
the
not
DVDs and
gonna
mail
buy
them
a
back in
DVD.
full. Anyway, we're getting distracted. This week we got to be a little more on top of it due to we both have time constraints. Yeah, gosh, he is one of the Black Bulls. He is the one who I said I think the last episode was my least favorite.
Has that changed, my friend?
Not really. I
Really?
mean,
wow, he got a little bit of character development, you know?
he didn't really get development. He got back. I guess he got a
No,
slight
he
bit
got
of development.
What are you talking about?
We got his backstory, and that
got
was
his
really
backstory.
what we got. And then we got a very, very slight bit of development at the end there.
What do you Gosh? So Gosh is he's the purple hair character who loves his sister so much. The reason
He's
why
got a huge sister complex,
and the reason is because his family. Let me see if I remember this correctly. His family got killed, and him and his sister got like kicked out of like the noble family, so they live on the streets. So he basically had to like steal and survive just to like support his sister, and he ended up getting arrested for it. And then when he was gonna go escape one time, Yami came and beat him up. And Yami's like, you could just protect whatever you want because one of these days you'll help somebody by doing that. And, I personally feel like he grew from that experience. He came to respect Asa a tiny little bit, even if he won't admit it. And he also came to respect the what was her name? Therese?
Teresa, yeah.
Teresa, the church. The one who actually taught Fuengolian, who we talked about last time. Yep. A pretty cool character. But yeah, he came to respect her. He actually said thank you, which she said, oh wow, he's actually thanking me. What a surprise, because he's not really like that. He's kind of like a criminal, pardon my language, but dick, kind of like a dick to other people other than his sister. But he came to respect,
he very much is.
He came to respect Asta a little bit, maybe everybody else as well, So in a sense, he did grow,
That's been the one thing about the character development. So far, we've gotten like backstories for the characters, but none I feel have really developed, except for the fact they end up acknowledging Asta by the end of their arc.
I think Asta is the one. That helps a lot of them grow, personally.
He is. I mean,
we see in Arc 5 as well, which we'll talk about.
With Magna and Luck and stuff, and we'll talk about that later.
Not just Magna and Luck. Everybody.
But otherwise, I feel like that's been my big thing. I don't feel like I've really seen everybody. Well, with the exception of Noelle a little bit in Arc 5.
At this point,
no one's really grown a bunch.
The backstories we haven't seen is probably Gray, Charmy, Gordon. Who left him. I mean, actually, I know he'll get his moment later. I bet he better. Yeah. And I think that's it. Actually, I don't think there's any other characters.
Yeah, that's right. I was about to say Vanessa, and I was like, no, we got Vanessa's.
And we're actually a little spoiler. We're actually get more of Vanessa's story next arc. So
okay. That'll be fun because what we got of hers is like very basic. I felt like there was more to it than.
We're also getting a little bit of Finral next as well. You thought they had enough of those characters. Well, too bad. All right.
Too bad. Okay.
But anyway. I like Gosh. He's pretty cool. Still a bit of a dick. Still a sister complex, but he grew, and I'm sure he'll just keep growing as the series goes on. But that's not about completely changing. It's about like the slight growth. You can't just completely change your tune right after unless it's like a big impact. And Asa didn't have that big of an impact on Gosh.
All right. No, I'm not saying I'm aware it's slight changes, but like the fact is like he respects Asta now. Cool, that's great. Like, but he hasn't really changed really anything else besides that, really. And I guess Mother Teresa or whatever her name was.
He took the first step. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see how he grows more later on.
Oh yeah.
But he very much is way too protective of his sister. Like his sister likes Asta because Asta was playing with her and he was fun. And he's immediately just jealous and like wanting to kill Asta for trying to steal his sister away from him. It's like, dude, no one's trying to do that. Like
that was funny.
Like it was just like, all right. I do like his magic though. His magic is really cool.
The mirror magic is really freaking great. Yeah, I figured you'd like his magic.
That's my favorite thing about him. Himself, I'm still kind of like, but his fight scenes are cool. He's got really fun magic. Essentially, he can just summon mirrors and shoot like beams out of them. We can also use them to communicate. So like, he gave his sister one of his mirrors, so that way they can just like talk to each other whenever he wants to.
Oh yeah, pretty cool. Pretty good magic.
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I like the way he uses it too. Like, he uses it in clever ways. Kind of like how Naofumi uses shield stuff in like Rising of the Shield Hero. Like he uses it in like unique ways. That like using the basic defend, or here's my thing, here's my mirror reflect. But no, he's like used it like in different ways, and it's really cool. So I like his magic. He's a good fighter.
He really was. I remember, I think you told me before he was one of the stronger ones of the group. I was like, really, that guy? And then seeing it, I was like, oh, I get it now. He probably is one of the strongest one out of their crew. But he's like all the others in that they just have no motivation to do their job whatsoever. It's just like, we're here to hang out and have fun. Oh, we have a mission? Cool. I mean, we found out, you know,
And that goes back further, and I'll explain that later when we talk about Arc 5, why I love Arc 5 so much.
Yeah, like I love the fact that when the old one, when they got done, it's like Austin's telling Magna that he got promoted, and he's like, what's that? It's like, yeah, none of you all have been promoted. He ranked up, like whatever. And it's like they've all been there for, most of them probably at least a year or two, if not longer. And it's like none of them had ranked up because they just don't care. Like, okay, cool. But like, you know, it just amuses me that like they're all like the bottom rank pretty much, except for like Austin, Noel, and Charmy now, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then it's like they're probably just the strongest ones at some of the other groups.
I don't remember if after Arc 5 they all get promoted again after getting the stone back. But
I feel like at least some of them will. I feel like maybe Austin, Noel won't. But I feel like some of the others might. I could see like
if it's anyone, it's gonna be Asa, Noel, Finral, and Vanessa. 100%.
Probably. Anything else we want to say about?
No,
Gosh?
I think we can move on to, is it the best character? No, I'm kidding.
Captain Yami's who I have next because I was ready to get the list of arcs.
Now I did say that before going to the show, like for the very first podcast, I'm like, I think Falcon will really like Yami. And you didn't seem to like him as much in the when we first watched it, but now that we got a little about him, we got his backstory, we see his moves, we see how he is. What do you think of Yami, Falcon?
I like Yami. Yeah, at the start,
hell yeah.
You asked if I liked him, and I was like, I just really haven't seen much of him besides, you know, like he's the captain, and he was like questioning and trying to intimidate Asta at the trials or selection exam, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know why, but I like to think of Yami as an isekai protagonist. He kind of is. He almost kind of
feels like one, yeah. We found out that Yami is a foreigner. He's not originally from the Clover Kingdom, but he washed up on the shore there. And because of that, he kind of has to, work a little bit harder. Feels like he has to prove himself more, which is funny because otherwise he's just completely lazy. It seems like we find out the only reason he put Finral in their squad was so Finral could teleport him to the bathroom, so he wouldn't have to walk to the bathroom.
God, the Mixer episode was so good. I loved it.
I just thought that's like, why? I love you at the end after Arc 5 when they're kind of wrapping up and Finral made this some comment about I never understood why you accepted me for this or whatnot. And he's like, so you could teleport me places I didn't want to walk to. Like, just straight face, like that was the only reason he cared. Like he didn't care about like what he could do for the team or anything, which is like, oh, cool. You can teleport me where I need to go. That's great. All right, you're in. But his fighting style is really cool. I like how he kind of mimics Asta. He uses a sword, even though he doesn't have to, but he uses his magic to augment his sword. Yeah, he has a katana. But otherwise it's dark magic, which is very interesting, especially since the villain of Arc 4 is all light magic based.
Which you think light is on the good side, but no, light's on the bad side this time.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the cool thing about this is they all get, randomly given a tome when they turn 15 and you don't know what it is. So yeah, the bad guys using light magic and the good guys using dark magic.
I mean,
that doesn't really matter.
Yami's fighting style was pretty cool. His fight scenes in Arc 4 were pretty great, and it was like a pretty good fight and all,
When it really showed just how much stronger the captains were than everybody else. I feel like we saw some of that in Arc 3, but we didn't really focus on them too much to where in Arc 4 we finally just saw one of them just go all out, like head-on attack. I guess we technically saw more because they kind of bust in at the end, but
we really saw it here with Arc 4 with Yami. We really did. And he's pretty cool. He actually grew a little bit as well thanks to Asta. Everyone's growing because of Asta. Wow.
Asta's the sole reason the Black Bulls might actually get some respect to their name by the end of this show is because he's there like making them actually work harder even if he doesn't realize he is.
I have to ask though, what did you think of the scene? This is actually so before I watched Black Clover, this is actually one of the scenes I watched that got me into the show. It was the one where Asta like licked like out of nowhere because he didn't sense him. And Yami's like, that's our no magic idiot over there. I put my trust in him and he put his trust in himself too. I like that scene. What did you think of that scene?
I liked it. I thought that was very good.
Hell yeah, that's a good scene right there.
I love that for
I
some
really
reason
like it.
Yami just like has the utmost respect for Asta for like seemingly not like a real reason. Like even in Arc 5, he's like, "All right, Asta, it's up to you, man." Like the rest of them might
I
could
mean,
do
I
it,
think
but I
the
know
reason
you can, so get it done.
I
It's
think the
very
reason why is because of back at the beginning during like the Magic
probably.
Knights tryouts where he like when Yami literally approached him like deadly death like I'm gonna kill you Aura and Asta just stood there proud like I'm gonna be the Wizard King. He's like ha, ha, I like you,
Yeah.
and that's probably why because he like stood up in the face of
Yeah.
adversity. And he's like seen all the stuff he did, especially like in the dungeon in Arc
Hmm.
2 and in the Capital Knights in Arc 3,
Yeah. Yeah, I still love the scene where Yami just jumps down after Asta doesn't get anybody wanting to take him. And he's just like, what'd you expect? You auditioned for the Magic Knights and you have no magic. And whatever power you apparently have, none of us understand. Why did you think we'd get you? Like, I thought that was a great scene from last time. I don't know if we really talked about it or not. I don't remember. Um,
I don't think you did, but it
but
was a
yeah,
pretty
like
good
it was good. I like the fact that Asta's just like, yeah, I will. I don't care. I'll try it again next year. Like, I like how he very much just turned, yeah. He's like, I like you. I'll take you. Come on, let's go. Like, it's just like, what? Okay. Um, yeah, I think he's fun. I like
But
how he's very. He
Yami's a
doesn't
great
seem like a
character.
captain. He seems like he'd be that bum who never does anything in the group. Because like even when Seki comes to like tell them about the reinforcements needed for Arc 4, he's just like, "Why are you here? Who are you?" And like they just like ask him all these dumb questions and make him do all this dumb crap. And then it's like, "Oh yeah, why are you here? There's backup needed. Why didn't you tell us that from the start?" And it's like, "I was trying to." Like they go and save the day, but it's very interesting how he does. And then we have the whole like Petite Clover of him just complaining about Austin never refilling the toilet paper in the bathroom and how the person sitting in the bathroom without toilet paper can't leave. Like, it's just like, this does not seem like the guy who would be running the squad, but he is, and he's a
Yeah, the
beast.
Petit Clovers are pretty great as well. This watch, I really
Like
like them. I know
Charmy's
your
missing
favorite one was the
cake.
Charmy one. Charmy's missing
Who
cake.
took a bite out of my cake? You.
I like the one. I like the one with Vet. I forget what's his name. Vete. Velo.
Veto.
Veto. I like the one with Veto where he's like talking about his beast magic. I think Noel's like asking him like what is he saying, and he keeps saying it, and it somehow ends up like some like other word, and they both
Yeah.
say it. And like, what are we talking about again?
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Petite
I think I
Clover
like
is
the
the
ones where
worst.
the villains just like I like the ones where the villains just like act like friendly with them, and like the Petit Clovers
Yeah.
is great.
Oh, Petite Clover. But yeah. What else do you want to
Yami's
say
great.
about Yami?
He's great. He's a good captain. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see more about him. I actually, from what I've seen, he actually doesn't make that many more appearances. Oh, he does make one more appearance in like the next arc, but other than that, I'm excited to see more about him in the
Mhm.
future arcs. So that'll be exciting.
All
That's
right.
all I have to say. I'm happy you like Yami. He's a good character. He's a good boss. He's really strong. Especially like that final attack he did in Arc 5,
That was pretty killer. Next up.
Yeah, it literally killed.
Mhm. So next up we have the villain of Arc 4. We've got
Oh, you
Lit.
say the villain overall of the whole series, maybe.
Possibly, we don't
For
know.
now,
Yeah.
we got licked.
Yes.
Licked.
Licht is the leader of the Midnight Sun group that we have
The
been
Eye of the Midnight
Sun,
Sun.
yes, that we've been in conflict with.
Ever
He
since literally the
has
first arc. Yep.
Mhm.
Super.
We find out he has a traitor in one of the captains that has been giving him information, or at least assisting in some way. And that's how he's known what's going on, how he knew when to attack the capital, when the Wizard King, well, no, the Wizard King was there at the capital, I guess, or had he just left? I don't remember. It's been a few weeks. That's how he's had all this
He
information.
left to go find the Eye of the Midnight Sun because that's how he
Oh,
saved
that's
Aqua.
right. That's why he knew it would just be the captains and he could capture Fuegolan. But yeah, so that's how we find out he's been doing that. We also find out who the traitor is, but we might talk about that later on in just like story moments. But yeah, he very much wants to make his own kingdom. We find out he's kind of this like alternate race of people who are just like incredibly blessed with mana.
Can you tell what they are?
They kind of seem like they might be elves.
That is possibly a thing. I actually don't know either.
They had pointier ears, so
They
that's
did
why
have
I'm
the pointy
assuming.
ears. That's right.
That's why I'm
Eh,
assuming they potentially could be elves, but they could be demon people. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe
Um,
Lick somehow knew about Asta's swords, though. You know,
mhm. And so
knew
did
about Asta's
Beto, and
sword.
we found out they're both the same like species of people originally. But we found out that his race of people eventually, I guess, like they interacted with humans, but they kind of kept to themselves. And then the humans one day decided to take all their land and stuff because humans are always terrible and always do terrible things. And so he wants to make his own kingdom where only those who are incredibly blessed by mana can live. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. And the fourth arc was we were stopping him from getting vast mana supplies because their plan was to steal mana from children.
The fourth arc was great because it's just like here's so basically they were stealing mana from children. So like Asta and Gosh and the sister went there. They defeated the bad guys, but then that sciencey chick came and made things worse.
I
But
love Sciencey Chick. She's great.
they defeated her, kind of. They defeated the mud guy,
Mhm.
and then Licht came
Mhm.
with with their teleporter guy,
Mhm.
and then Yami and Finral came on the good side, right?
Yeah.
And then after they managed to somehow defeat Licht, Licht three generals came, which they called the three eyes, right?
Yeah. They're the three eyes.
The three eyes, and then the three captains came. It's just like back up, back up, back up.
Yeah.
It's like an all-out war at this point. It's pretty fun.
I did like too that all the other captains just started talking crap about Yami. It's like, wow, you couldn't defeat these three guys by yourself. It's like he just took out the leader. Like,
I mean, technically, Gosh took out the leader.
well, yeah, but Yami did a good chunk of the work.
A lot of
Josh
work,
just
yeah.
assisted. But yeah, it was very much like, okay, they've been here fighting all these other people. Cut them some slack.
That is true. Everyone
but,
everyone shined their brightest in some
Yeah.
way.
I mean, we even got to. I even liked seeing more fighting from the other captains. That was fun because we haven't really seen a ton of them.
I actually forgot the Silver Eagle came. I remember Jack the Ripper. And I remembered the Blue Roses captain, who somehow has a crush on Yami because why not?
That amuses me so much. Like, no, I can't let the girls know because then they'll think I need a man. I don't need a man. Plus,
they
he's
show
terrible. Why do I hate him? And like at the end when he like touches her helmet or like her shoulder, and everyone's like, "Hey, thanks for the help." She's just like, "Leave me alone." Just like,
and then they had the Petit Clover about it too. And then yeah, there was that. And then I forgot the Silver Eagles captain was there as well. I forgot. I remember two of the captains, but who was the third one? And I didn't remember.
yeah, it was Nozel, I think is the captain.
Who cares? He's an
Nozel
asshole.
Silva. Yeah, all the Silvas are except Noelle, even to an extent, but we can already tell like she's not
That's just royalty. They're just
Yeah.
they just grew up with royalty, man. That's all.
They even
But
hate
Noelle's
their cousins
grown.
though. That was the thing that got me is like Mimosa and Fuegolan and all them are their cousins. And they're just like, you all are worthless, and you are being a terrible name to royal giving. It's just like, yeah, very much the.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the Noelle's sister just did that like one time. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
What I'm calling it right now. It's not going to happen in the show, but it's going to happen in the Petit Clover. I'm calling it right now.
Probably.
Oh,
You've heard it from Condor.
Did you mute yourself?
No, can you not hear me?
No, never mind. I can hear you now.
Okay.
That was weird. Okay, but we've got a little off topic now, didn't we?
We very much did get off topic. Back to Licht. What do you want to say about Licht, Condor?
Well, we actually don't know who his true identity is because
This is true.
We actually see his face. You know, we see his face. So you think you know him, but we don't know who he could be. A lot of people speculate it's someone from the one of the captains, or maybe it's somebody else. So we'll go into that a little bit later, possibly. But his magic's pretty cool. Apparently, he has like a super stronger magic that's like sealed within him. I have no idea what that is. Maybe, who knows?
Right.
But they're trying. Like the goal of the Eye of the Midnight Sun is to resurrect their god. I think they said.
I believe so. Something like that.
Yeah. So that's probably going to be their end goal. Whether it gets achieved, it's most likely going to be it's most likely going to be achieved, knowing the anime.
Yeah.
But, it's fun to see them like struggle a little bit,
Yeah, it's fun to see their plans thwarted.
It's fun to see like the leader like go down and then like, oh, here's the three generals who are stronger than me.
I did appreciate the fact that he wasn't the strongest. It wasn't like, oh, here's our second through fourth strongest people, go. It was like, oh, he's our leader and we all respect him, but these guys could take him in a fight any day. Like, I respected the fact that he wasn't necessarily the strongest person on the team, because I feel like most anime, the leader usually is the strongest person on the team.
Yeah.
So I respected the fact that this is at least different, and like, oh no, he's the better leader. He's the guy who leads them and tells them all what to do, but he has his muscle to help him out, which
That's
I
right.
appreciated.
Sometimes the leader isn't always the strongest. It's the smartest,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, but looks pretty cool. I'm excited. I wouldn't say I'm excited. I guess I'm excited to see who he is. Just so I could prove my doubts wrong and prove you wrong, Falcon.
Maybe we'll talk more about that later.
I
Anything
guess
else
we
we want
can
to
move
say?
off of the characters from Arc 4 and go to Arc 5. The characters
right.
from Arc 5. Woo!
I will admit, Arc 5 so far has been the best one out of all of them.
I know. I told you, didn't I say that?
You did. You were like, oh, Arc 5.
Great, man. And I was right. Rewatching it, it was great. It was so good. I'm not going to lie. I may have overhyped it a teensy bit to me personally, but it was still like really hype.
Right.
It was still like really good.
Like, I don't think it'd be on like my list of like best shonen arcs of all time or anything, but as far as what I've seen in Black Clover so far, it's definitely been the one I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, definitely.
But starting off with Arc 5 characters, we finally get to see more of Vanessa.
Whoa, the drunk woman who just drinks and is naked all the time?
Naked drunk woman. I loved when they go to the beach and she's it may be more of a purple, pinkish purple. I love that when she's at the beach, she's in the swim, she's like, how do I look? And like, you look like you do every day. And she's like, there's a difference. They're like, is there? What? We see very little pants and cleavage. That's what you normally are like in the house. But we finally get to see Vanessa's magic, and
which is pretty impressive.
I liked it. It was like kind of like thread magic, I guess you could say.
Thread magic. Yeah. Saw it. It's kind of a lot of people are surprised, but it kind of makes sense because she like makes the clothes, so it's kind of like hinted at.
Yeah,
but I guess we never like notice it because we don't really see it. Kind of happens like off scene.
Well, yeah, we never saw it, but yeah, when Asta's cloak got damaged in the beginning, like, oh, don't worry, Vanessa can fix it, and that's all they said. So it's like, cool, is she just a good seamstress? But then it's like, no, her magic is dealing with like thread and stuff.
And then we saw how like OP it is in like a fight. Like we didn't see it, but she beat one of those fish guys, and then she beat one of the Midnight Sun guy. Then she came in with the bat. That's the combination is so good. We'll get to that later.
I kind of wish we saw her fight the other people, because like we saw her like go to a room with people. Then like next time we see her, they're just like down, and she's like, all right, that guy's done. Like moving on. I kind of wish we got to see more of her. That's the one thing that I wish we saw more of the other fights. I don't know if it's just due to like time or budget, or if like in the original manga they didn't really show those fights.
I think I think it's very close to the manga. I have to read the manga, but Vanessa has pretty cool magic. We get to see her backstory. She's kind of like trapped in like a cage, and she's like talking to herself. It's kind of really weird, really scary.
Yeah, so
what's going on there?
She's a witch, and she's from a village of witches.
That's right.
And we don't know why yet, but she was kept in a tower in a cage. And she would make her own like puppets and stuffed animals to talk to, and she would give them like voices to talk back. But she wasn't allowed outside. Kind of very much almost like a Rapunzel type thing. Kind of like, oh, I'm locked away and I can't leave.
But somehow she freed herself.
And then one day, she finally just got tired and was like, why can't I?
And that's why she's living her life the way she wants to, by drinking it up every day. And I can kind of respect that. Like usually I don't really like the characters who usually gets drunk all the time. Like that. I wouldn't say she gets drunk or just like lazy like that, but she's like living life the way she wants to after being trapped. I can respect that. I honestly, I didn't really care much about her until I saw Arc 5. I'm like, woo, let's go.
She was somebody that I didn't really have an opinion on. I wanted to see more of her before I was like, do I like her or do I dislike her? She very much just was there, and you'd see her like passed out drunk on the table.
She always seems to have a lot of self
flirting with somebody. Like very much like she was there, but she was just kind of background noise essentially.
She has a tiny bit of self-confidence issues, She's always like, I can't believe you trust me, Asta. How could you? I'm just an old lady.
And that's where Asta also propels her to like care more about her job and to work harder. Because she sees him like fight. It's like, this kid has no magic. He's already done these things, which I think is impossible. And I like how she too says all the other members who've gone on missions with him respect him like more than anybody else on the squad, and she can never figure out why. And
But now she knows.
And I like how she acknowledges that. She's like, but after seeing him fight and how he behaves, like, I get it. Like, he makes me want to do better too. So here we go. Let's do it. Like, we might both die right here, right now, but let's go for it. What happens happens.
But yeah, Vanessa with the string magic, the thread magic, whatever you want to call it, freaking great character.
Want to say, or shall we move on to the next one?
We can move on to the next one.
Okay.
I know who we're talking about next. Let's go.
It is the Cowardly Lion, aka Finral.
Now obviously, I think we can all say it. We all knew Finral was a bit of a coward with Arc 4 because you know, like, I want to get out of here. You know, I want to be here. By the way, I actually read this. There's actually in Arc 4, he actually wasn't supposed to stick around like at the end. He was supposed to be off somewhere else. I guess they changed that for the anime.
Maybe.
Not that it matters, but
no.
You know, Finral, guy got the teleportation magic. You know, he's pretty cool, pretty like, he has like really good magic. But he's a bit of a coward. He's kind of afraid, and that's due to his background where he never really wanted to be a fighter.
He's also very pacifist. He doesn't want to like hurt anybody. He's like, why do I need to fight people? Like
why do I have to fight people? And his family didn't like that. And his brother, who we're gonna see in the next arc, by the way. He joined the Golden Dawn. He actually became the vice captain of the Golden Dawn. Yep. And Finral, and everyone just is like Finral. He kind of like got abandoned from his family. So Yami picked him up. And, you know, you said this scene about him, like, why'd you let me join? And also, like, use you to teleport me to the bathroom. But what you didn't say, and this is what I really liked what Yami said, he's like, but you have to fight your own way. It's not always about brute strength. You know, you got to fight your own way. And that's really cool. That's why, it's a teleport.
Finral was someone I didn't really like going into this. Like, he very much just seemed like the stereotypical flirt because all we ever saw was him wanting to flirt with girls. And even when he's first introduced in like the night trials, they're like, oh, is that Finral? Isn't he the one that's just always hopelessly flirting with every girl he sees? Like, that's what we've known about him like all the time. Yeah, I also wonder how old he is because his brother was a younger brother.
I know the wiki was, so I'll go check the wiki without spoiling myself.
And so the fact his younger brother is already a captain, he himself doesn't seem that old. And we found out a lot of the members of the Black Bulls aren't that old either.
He's 21.
21? Okay. But yeah, so like the fact that his younger brother at like 19 or 20 is already a captain of the strongest squad is very strange to me. But if we see him next chapter, or next arc, we'll see how that is. Yeah, I feel bad for him. Like, doesn't want to fight, but since he's royalty, he's essentially being forced to become a knight and fight. So he doesn't practice his magic because he doesn't want to fight. But then the younger brother, who's just like really good at it, gets really everything he wants. Like, I felt really bad for him. Like, I was like, I can have sympathy for that. Just constantly being told he's worthless, where he just doesn't even really care anymore.
Yeah, he's 21. But yeah, no, but thanks to Asta, he starts to grow a little bit. He sees Asta. He keeps looking at Asta, like how he keeps getting up, and it's like, I can never do that. How could you keep doing that? But, you know, he sees that. He sees Vanessa going.
The whole time he's like literally like sneaking away, still trying to find an exit and just looking back to be like, why are you still fighting, dude? Just run. Like,
in this case, I will say that him running away throughout a lot of Arc 5 actually helped out in the end for the final fight. So that was kind of, in a sense, it was a smart move, but that, like, the sincerity towards the action wasn't smart, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, he's like, he's coming in, and everyone, especially after the end of the fight, he's like, wow, Finral didn't run away for once. He's like, yeah, I know, I was really brave, wasn't I?
Yeah, like,
but you know, Finral ended up being a lot more likable, and after
they made him more likable. Yeah,
of course, you got that character development, tiny bit. Everyone gets like tiny bit character development. I think that's how they do it. You know, that's how the author likes to do it.
It's gonna be fun on this one, seeing at the very end if they truly have grown much more than they have now, or if they kind of have this like little tiny moment and that's it. That'll be fun to watch towards the end.
First step, basically, like Gosh, Finral, Vanessa, they've all taken the first step to being a little bit better, more developed. You know, I like that. That's what it's about.
I did graphics. Like, you know, when they were, so Arc 4 starts out and they're having like a game in this underwater sea temple because they have to do it to get the stone they're looking for. If they can win the game, the high priest or whatever is going to give them the stone, and Finral doesn't want to do it. So they all get teleported in, and the guy's explaining the rules. And you can already see Fenrir like trying to like hide behind rocks and stuff, and Yami's just like, Fenrir, if you hide, I'm gonna kick your ass. It's just he's like, oh no, but like the whole time he's still just like hiding behind rocks. Oh, I think there's a guy over there. Don't make a sound. And then the game master's like, I'm tired of you hiding. Here's a shark to chase you out of hide. Like, it would amuse me that they were just trying to get him to actually like do something the whole time. But then it matters because at the end, everybody was pretty much out of magic but him because he kept running away and hiding. So that helped them at the end of the day. But yeah, it wasn't like they planned like, oh, we're probably going to run into someone strong. I should hide to conserve my magic. It was just like, no, he didn't want to fight. He was just scared. But that was fun. So many good things.
Next character.
Yeah. Last character on the list is the main villain of Arc 5, which
Whoa. Is Beto. You mean Zark?
Sorry.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. It is Beto. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Mr. Liney Beast Magic guy.
Dude, my man had that beast magic. He was the buffest guy. He looked like the strongest one, you know?
I still do not like his design. There's something about his face that just bugs me. I do not like him. I was like, get him off my screen.
Everyone is strong. Well, I'm sorry, but Arc 5 literally just had him too much to get him off the screen.
I liked
this
like
fight took like 7-8 episodes, dude.
It was long.
They struggled. I
it
like
was like half the arc. Not gonna lie. Like
I like seeing that. I always like seeing the character struggle. So like taking someone down like 1 or 2 episodes. It's always good to see like them all struggle. Beto's thing is he likes to spare. He likes to make people despair. He'd be a perfect character in Danganronpa.
Yeah, he's pretty much just Monokuma in Black Clover.
Yeah.
They're all trapped in a temple they can't get out of. He's just there like, I will give you despair.
And he's like trying to kill everybody, you know.
Yeah.
He gets those 2 characters from like cuts off one of the legs, destroys the voice of the other one. Freaking Jesus, like brutal AF, man. You know. But you know, his thing is he used to be that like higher species thing that you talked about earlier with Lick. They show a little background about that. He also has this like ancient beast magic that can like heal his limbs because Noelle literally like cut off his limb, but he like healed it.
She blew off his arm, and they're like, "Oh, healing magic can't do anything about that except close." And he's just like, "Nope, got a new one. Let's go."
Let me do an enactment.
Okay, you're doing an enactment. Condor's hand is in his shirt. Oh, it just popped out the side. What happened?
Oh, I used my.
Oh man. You used your boost magic. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, we got a little bit of Edo's backstory, but really, it's just that like he and Licht were friends as kids, and Licht always stood up for him, so he's gonna help out Licht with whatever Licht needs to do. Kind of. Is how I took it. Did I take that correctly, or did you get a different take on it?
I mean, I would take it that way. I mean, he looks up to Licht a lot, so he wants to help him out with his goals. You know, they grew up together.
All right. Otherwise, he had some really sick fight scenes, which we'll probably talk about in a minute. So is there anything else we want to talk about him, just like character wise?
Nope. Okay. Well, you know. He's pretty brutal. I honestly considered him I know a little bit about one of the other of the 3 eyes because she's in the next arc. Spoiler alert. Obviously. But I always assumed Beto would be the strongest, and they already took care of him. It was kind of crazy. I would assume they would leave like the strong. This is what surprised me. This is one of the things that surprised me when I first watched it. Was that it's like, oh, okay, here's the 3 guys, and in my head I'm like, okay, so this guy's probably the strongest, so he'll probably be last. Nope. You thought he would be last. Now he's gonna be the first struggle for everybody. Here we go. Yeah, I like that. I thought he would be like one of the last ones they would fought, but he was the first one out of the 3. So good times. I guess we should move on to the music then, because I think that's all the characters we wanted to talk about.
It is. So next up for the first opening.
All right, how about you tell everybody about this song, Falcon? Go ahead.
This song is called Black Rover.
Whoa, what?
It is by a group called Vicky Blanca or Vic Blanc, something, and it's foreign. I don't know. I apologize. I probably butchered it. But it's pretty much one of the most hype openings in a long time, I will say. It's pretty amazing. Lots of great covers of it. I'm pretty sure I listened to it like all day Monday, just on repeat of some form.
And you still listen to it sometimes now?
Still sometimes now, yes. What did you think of Black Rover?
Well, I just want to say that I'm like, before we watch this part, I'm like, you're gonna love the 3rd opening, And then you messaged me, you're like, what did you do to me, Condor? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, I can't stop listening to Black Clover, and it's all your fault.
Yeah.
No, Black Clover is one of the probably the best opening. I mean, I've only heard 1 through 5, and then Black Catcher, which is the 10th opening, because I heard it's a banger. So I had to listen to it. Listening to a music isn't really a spoiler unless you watch the opening itself. But no, Black Clover is probably one of the best openings in the anime. One of the best openings of all time. I'd say yes.
I mean, it's debatable.
Maybe top 20.
Music is very subjective, so that's going to be one of those, like, to somebody it could be their favorite of all time, but someone else could think it's the worst opening ever.
But everyone can always agree Black Clover is one of the best openings from Black Clover. So
probably, yeah.
That's probably why. Kind of like Silhouette's like one of the best Naruto ones.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know, the classic We Are from One Piece, the first opening, you know? Can't go wrong with the classics. But, you know.
So good. Anyway,
but yeah, I like it. Definitely the best song of Black Clover so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you like it, there's also lots of good like English covers as well. So you can listen to it in English if you choose to as well.
There you go.
Next,
Emily.
The Emily one was pretty good. She had someone else on there, but I forgot his name. Is it like Caleb?
It's Caleb.
Caleb Hines or something?
Let me pull it up. Black Rover. That's right. What does Rover mean? I don't know. Yeah, it's Caleb Hiles.
Okay, that's right.
Next rapper.
Next up, we have Guess Who's Back by Kumi Koda.
Emily also did a cover for this one as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't listen to that one. I might need to give it a shot. Who knows?
It's decent. Give it a listen to. But I like Guess Who Is Back only because I really like Arc 5, so my bias is there. Though honestly, the animation wise, it's okay. I do like at the end of it though, where it's like they're all facing Veno and they all like show the characters and they're like all switching. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I liked that a lot. I liked I think I like the animation for it better. I mean, it's called Guess Who's Back, so the start is just showing like all the different black bulls that are in the like the arc.
Everyone's there, even Gordon's hat.
So I guess we should have mentioned that like Arc 5 is cool. And then one thing I liked about it was that they all worked together, except for Gordon. Gordon got left at the base, and he just decided to sit there and cry instead of catching up. Which, okay, whatever. So in the opening, they just have his hat like sitting off to the side. But yeah, I liked it. It was like Guess Who's Back, and it's showing all of them. One thing I did notice, I'm sure you probably did too. Yeah. It starts off, it's like a white background, and then they put like shade over it, so it kind of becomes more like a black, like shadow kind of background. And all of them look the same except for Charmy. And when they put the black there, her eyes just go like the white circles, like when she's mad that somebody ate her food.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, so it starts off.
Noticed that.
She's just got her normal like anime eyes, and then when it goes black, it's just like the like circular like demony eyes from when she gets mad.
Actually, I might have noticed that now that you talk about it.
That was fun. But I did like.
I actually just remembered the Petit Clover where they were playing Red Light, Green Light. It was like after they did the team up, and then Vanessa and Finn were like, we got your back, Asa. No matter what, we can do this. And it's just them playing Red Light, Green Light. But Gordon speaks so soft that Asa couldn't hear, so Asa just crashed into the wall and loses.
So last time when we watched it, I legit thought Gordon didn't even have a voice actor for a while because it was so quiet. I literally couldn't hear a noise he was saying. So I thought he literally just moved his mouth and there were subtitles. And like a few episodes later, like I heard like a very, very faint voice. I'm like, he just talks so quiet that no one ever understands him, which I find funny. But yeah, he was like, they're like, ah, it's like he couldn't. No,
but who ate my cake, Falcon?
Charmy ate her own cake. No, I lost it so much. Like she's wearing a detective outfit. She woke up and someone had taken a bite out of her cake, and then she was like 2 or 3 members like, Charmy, that was you. And she's like, I must look at whoever does this, like listing up all the steps. That was you, Charmy. And then like others come in. Look, see, there's even a handprint there. Isn't that your handprint, Charmy? Like she's going through all this stuff. They're like, it was me, and they're all like, yeah. So good. Okay. Anyway,
Guess Who Was Back is a good opening. Not better than Black Rover. What do you think of Guess Who Was Back, Falcon?
It was fine. I liked the animation more than the song. It's not gonna be one I'm gonna come back to very often.
Where are they coming back to though? Why did they like? Was there like a? Actually, that is a good question. I wonder why it's called Guess Who Is Back.
I wonder if that was like where they done like a season break, maybe if like the first season was like the first 4 arcs,
I'm gonna look that
and
up
then
while
like
you
season
talk
2
about
was
the ending
technically
themes.
there. It would make sense because like, hey, we're back, you guys, but maybe not. I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up while you talk about the ending themes.
Yeah. So the first ending theme is called "Black, the Dreamlight" by Empire. It featured Noelle very heavily, from what I remember. I'm not gonna lie, I skipped it most of the time.
I only watched it like once or twice.
I think I did like 2 or 3 times. It was fine, just very very slow. Not what I really want at the end of like cool fight scenes and such. But it was there. It was decent if you enjoy more slower pace songs. It was good. Nothing memorable. Do you have any other opinions on Blight the Dreamlight?
That's the one where it's Noelle like in the watery area, right?
Yeah.
It was fine. I kind of skipped it
Yeah.
a lot, so
Okay.
not that important. And it looks like there was no season break in between. I guess they
Okay.
just call it Guess Who Is Back, because why not?
I kind of thought so. Because I thought when I saw like, on like Hulu, like season 1 was like through episode 60 or something. So I figured it was probably just like one really long season that like they do sometimes. I think Ace of Diamond was like that as well. The first season was like 60 something episodes. But I was like, maybe. But then the next ending was called 4 by Fakey. I think I'm saying that right.
And
F-A-K-Y.
there was also sung by one of the characters in the show. Her name is Kahono. I think that was her name. She's actually the one. She's actually, I would consider, people consider Noelle's first like female friend. Really inspired her to become like a better fighter, better magician, and everything, better wizard or whatever you want to call it. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, she actually sung the ending theme. It actually says it in the credits. It says Kahono's VA or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Falcon didn't know that.
No, I did not know that.
He is not a real Black Clover fan.
I am not a real Black Clover fan. I'm just here for Charmy. That's all I care about.
Now, if you want to go for Charmy, go play Sonic Heroes.
I'm not that Charmy. That Charmy is terrible.
Imagine someone did a mod and it's just Charmy from Black Clover. It's Charmy and Team Chaotix. And like all the lines.
I don't mind Charmy B. Charmy B's fine. I know a lot of people get annoyed by Charmy B, but I'm like, Charmy B's fine.
If your name is Charmy, you're probably annoying.
Probably slightly. Who knows? But yeah, 4 is fine. It's like Noelle, Mimosa, and Kahono, I think.
Yep, just those 3 girls, and they're like in school.
Yeah, it was odd. It was another one that I didn't listen to too much. I liked it a little bit better than Black the Dreamlight, but not by much.
It's all fan service.
Yeah.
Just like that one Petite Clover, which everyone was like, we haven't got enough fan service. We're too busy seeing this ugly guy's face. Like you said, you didn't like Veto's design. So they show like Noelle and Mimosa in like this really good
and
image.
These swimsuits. It's just like, okay. And then Noelle sees and gets mad.
Classic.
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 So the openings definitely worth checking out. The endings, if you want to.
Not really worth checking out.
Yeah.
Skip.
Alrighty.
All right.
So talking about favorite.
Don't
moments.
have a weeb question because we really didn't think of one. There's not really much to say other than we really just continued the anime, But I guess we could talk about story stuff if you want.
Yeah.
I guess we should do this properly and talk about Arc 4 first, even though we both like Arc 5 better.
Yeah.
Not saying Arc 4 is bad. Arc 4 is really good. It's just Arc 5 is better.
It is. It's so much better. Arc 4, there wasn't like a ton that I just really liked.
We need to pay respects to the classic, the Mixer
I'm aware.
episode. The Mixer episode.
The Mixer episode was pretty good.
That was the first episode we started for this watch, and it was pretty good, not only because it showed Asta, Luck, and Finral like not really doing well. Like Asta's like, oh god, I gotta make an impression. Hi everybody, I'm Asta. Look at my belly. I have these cuts on it from defending the Capitol.
Yeah.
And then we saw freaking Seke and his group trying to woo some girls. And then Noelle was like stalking Asta, like working there. And like some guy's like, can I get another beer? She's like, don't talk to me, worm.
Yeah. And then see, she got annoyed with what Seke was saying to some girls. She just blasts them with water.
And then the girls are like, yeah, thank you.
The girl's like, yeah. And the manager's like, you can't do that to people. And she's just like, yeah.
Quiet, peasant.
I liked the Mixer episode. The whole plot was that Finral was setting up a mixer, but he didn't have 2 other guys, and there were 3 girls that had come in. So
he invited Asta, but he didn't know who to invite for the third one. So he went through like all the guys, and he ended up with Luck, which I guess it makes sense. Yeah. Because Luck, I mean, other than him being like a crazy battle hard guy, he's pretty normal. in a sense.
Not really. Like he only cares about fighting. Like that's all Luck cares about.
I would have brought Magna, even though he's a bit of a delinquent. But I still
Yeah, I would have. He's like, I could bring him on, but he's a delinquent. Some girls like that, but some girls don't. Asta, obviously, everybody likes him, but he's going through the list. I'm like, Gordon, no. Did he even consider Gordon, or did Gordon get left out? I don't remember.
I think Gordon got left out. Or maybe
yeah, but he's like, Gray, no, Gray doesn't talk.
And then there was the Petit Clover episode with freaking Gray, Seke, and Gordon.
Yeah.
The mixer.
That was great.
And it's just Gordon talking quietly, Gray, and Seki going,
I still like Seke, but he's in there more than I figured he would be.
He's just a comedy character, that's all.
Yeah, like I like the fact that he thinks he's greater than he actually is, and like he'll be like, "I was given 100 stars from the Wizard King," and all that. They always have the subtitles be like, "No, that didn't happen."
Is not true.
It's like this is actually surprisingly true. Like
this is surprisingly true.
Like I think when he said like the Wizard King himself like commended him for helping save the people on the beach or whatever, and it's like surprisingly this is true.
I hope he makes more appearances. Maybe he'll get like his big moment, you know. I'm hoping, you know, he's not a bad character. He was kind of like a dick to Asta in the beginning, but he's not a bad character.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's interesting, but yeah, he's not really that important. But yeah,
the mixer is pretty good because the mixer introduced a character called Rebecca who becomes to like Asta, just like Noelle and Mimosa.
We'd already seen Rebecca before, though. We just didn't know her name.
Technically, that was an anime appearance only. She wasn't like that in the manga. I read about.
Yeah,
that.
I remember. I was like, "Oh, she's that girl we saw that you think either Seke or Finral hit on, like one day when they were just randomly in the town, and it's like, oh, are these your kids?" And she's like, "No, they're my siblings. We're leaving." And like, then I was like, "Oh, that's the girl."
Not that appearance. There was actually another appearance, and like when Asta and Yuto first got to the capital, they actually saw Rebecca and her kids just walking around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but that was an anime.
Yeah, it was the same episode. They were walking around later on. No. Somebody hits on them later, I thought.
I think that was a different episode. I don't remember. I don't know. But yeah, so the mixer. And then the next episode was a recap, which I actually skipped and Falcon watched. What did you think of the recap episode, Falcon?
For recap episodes, it was fine. Essentially, the whole thing is Gordon has been like observing what Asta does because he claims Asta is his best friend. And he's keeping a journal of everything that Asta does. And then he also keeps a journal of everything Yuno does, since Yuno and Asta are childhood friends. That by default makes Yuno one of his good friends, according to Gordon. So he's just like recounting these journals he's made, and he's got these really dumb drawings of their face on them, so he knows which journal is for who. It was fine, but I mean, yeah, it's nothing to worry about. But then the rest of it, we pretty much get into just the actual story of the arc. Rebecca was set up because Asta wants to go visit her siblings in this town that they live in. They own a restaurant. He promised he'd come play with her siblings one day. So he goes to do that. And when he goes there, we also meet Maria. Wait, is that her name? That is her name, right? Gosh's little sister.
Yeah, it's
Marie. Yeah, Marie, not Maria. And Gosh gets mad because when he buys out an entire toy store for her to give her as a gift, which I loved. Like they knew he was coming to town that day. They knew it was Mari's birthday. They're just like, "Hey, look at all this stuff we got." He literally buys the whole store. But he sees she's playing with Asta, and he doesn't like that. And then when he decides it's time for them to have like their brother-daughter date for her birthday, visiting time's over, and she has to go back to the chapel or whatever. Because he spent too much time buying toys for her. That's kind of the whole setup. And then they save the night and whatnot. And then they go to the cave to rescue the children because the children got all like hypnotized to go.
And as I mentioned, it's like, you know, here's like, it's like a war, like so much backup coming every now and then. But I think the highlight of those stuff, that was probably Yami versus Licht. Highlight. I mean, I also like seeing Asta and Gosh like working together as well to defeat the Mudman.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. I also liked her name's like Sally or something. Whoever the crazy like science.
That's right,
girl
the crazy scientist girl.
I like her a lot, so it's fun seeing her with her like gel salamander or whatever. It's like I think she's cool, but she didn't really do much besides like make the Mudman into an actual Mudman, and then get kind of like knocked out easily. Though the only thing really that I found like really just cool about Arc 4 was watching the Yami versus Licht fight, and then finally seeing what Gosh's magic does. But besides that, I feel like it was just standard kind of fare for a shonen arc.
All right, I think it was a little different, showing like all the backup. But I guess
Also, we found out that Asta swords have names, and pretty much all of the Midnight Sun knows what they are. It
or
was
at least the higher ups, because
yeah.
When they did the invasion of the capital arc, none of them mentioned the swords. But as soon as
Right.
Lick saw it, he's like, "Oh God!" And
Yeah, but he's
saw it,
like,
said,
"Why have you been chosen to have it?" Was like the Demon Slayer and the Demon
Breaker,
something like that.
Yeah. Demon Slayer. That's a different anime.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was
I
either
guess
Demon
Lick is
Slayer
a
or the Demon
fan.
Hunter, one of the two.
I guess Lick is a fan of good anime. I respect that.
Possibly.
Yeah. Now I kind of want his goals to kind of happen if he likes good anime.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun knowing that like Lick doesn't like that Asta has these swords. He doesn't think Asta is worthy of it because Asta has no magic, essentially. He's not loved by mana, as Lick says. So I like that part of their goal is they're trying to get these swords away from Asta as well.
Well, technically, those swords are the only thing that can happen. And, then when Asta hit Lick with his sword, Lick started going crazy. He had this like incredible amount of magic. Mm-hmm. It took all three of the eyes to like seal it back in.
Yeah.
No.
Anything else you want to say about the Arc 4 stuff, or should we move on to the Arc 5 stuff?
Let's move on to the best one.
Okay.
All right, Arc 5, boom. We're going to the beach, everybody. Beach episode. Beach episode is pretty nice, though.
Magna's underwear gets set on fire by Luck, who then just chases him around the beach. Gray is on a giant inflatable turtle. Noelle is trying to get Asta to notice her swimsuit, even though she's embarrassed to be in a bikini.
And we got a Petit Clover about it, where he did
notice
her.
Yeah. Let's see what else is everyone else doing. Yami is actually doing work while the rest are goofing off.
Gordon gets left behind.
And instead of just leaving to catch up, he just sits there, cries, and then draws their faces on rocks so he doesn't feel lonely. Which I laugh very hard when I saw he's literally sitting there with like badly drawn faces. But that was also, I like too how like they're traveling there and it's like, wait, is Gray here? And Gray is like, yeah. And you find out Gray transformed into Gordon for the ride. Like, wait, then where's Gordon? And then it just cuts to him and he's like, hello, where'd everybody go? Is anyone still here? Did they leave me? Why would they leave me? It's just...
But basically the point is they have to travel to this underwater temple to get the stone because the Wizard King sent it. Oh, we forgot to mention, but they actually found the traitor of the captain, which happened to be the Purple Orca's captain.
Yep.
Who has like invisibility powers and stuff.
Invisibility magic.
But luckily Asa with his newfound key ability sensed him and got him. And then we saw that captain with that paint ability. Ooh, that was pretty cool.
Gil, I think's his name.
Yeah, his name's Gil. He's the youngest captain. I think
he's
19?
19 to 20, something like that.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, I want to be your friend, Asta." I'm like, maybe you should have added him to your team in the beginning.
I don't think Asta cares about that though. Like if Gil wants to be his friend, he'll be his friend. Gil or Rill or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I liked how Gil was trying to do impressions of everybody when they were at the meeting. And then Gil did
loved it until it was his. And he's like, no!
You little shit, I'm gonna kill you. It was pretty good.
So we find out that the Purple Orca guy, he's not licked, but he took a bribe from the Eye of the Midnight Sun or whatever to get rid of the barrier mages when they were going to attack the capital. So it's because of him that they were able to get in and start attacking the villagers and whatnot. So he is no longer a captain from what we can assume, but we don't know what they've done to him besides like trying to get information out of him, I guess.
That's right. So after that, the Wizard King sends Asta, Yami, and the Black Bulls on a mission, which is true to the beach episode. Basically, they have to go to the underwater temple, but it's like a high magic zone, which is like super hard to like travel and you could like die from it. The only way is for Noelle to be able to like make like a really big magic to like transport everybody there. But Noelle can't do it, but she only has a week to be able to do it. Does she do it?
Yeah, it's also because, she has water magic and they can't breathe underwater. So she can put them in like her little water sphere. But yes, she has to, it's all on her to learn how to control her magic to do this, or they're all going to die trying to go to the magic temple or underwater temple. I don't know why it's a magic temple.
Because magic. Ooh.
So she spends her week trying to master her magic, and she meets a girl named Kahono,
who's in the opening.
I like Kahono. She's fun. At first, I thought she could almost be a mermaid. Like, I had a feeling she was someone from the underwater temple, but the fact she's just like standing on a rock singing at night when no one else is around, I was like, potentially could be mermaids, but they were not mermaids. But she was from the underwater temple, so
was
hooray!
Was it the part where she said, "I'll meet you at the underwater temple, Noelle," and she dives into the water? Was that the part where you realize she's from the underwater temple?
No, from before that. Because like you know, like mermaid legends and stuff, they would sing on like rocks at night if they didn't think anybody was around.
But she just wants to be a popular idol.
She wants to be a pop idol, yeah. She wants to go to the capital and become the hit idol.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked Kahono a lot. So Kahono ends up seeing that Noelle and Asta are trying to like practice their magic. So Asta's like, "Oh, you're trying to train. I'm trying to train too. Let's train together." So like he's kind of there trying to help out and like do his training as well. But Kahono actually has like good tips for Noelle, like to how to control her magic. And Noelle ends up being able to do it on the night before they have to go. So just in the nick of time, she's learned how to do it. And I really liked that moment because literally all of the others from the squad show up there and are like cheering her on and doing it.
Charmy has a cake.
Charmy has a cake that she wasn't eating. She was saving it for Noelle in case she was able to do the spell.
If that doesn't get you emotional, you're a heartless person.
Right? Yeah,
I shed some manly tears that day.
Yeah, I was like, Charmy's not eating the cake. Like, I was just like, what? Because anytime there's anywhere like food anywhere nearby, Charmy's eating it or trying to eat it. Like, that's the whole reason she was in the third arc, was because she snuck in with them because she knew there'd be food at the feast and she wanted to see what the feast food was like. That's the whole reason she was there. She wasn't even supposed to be there. But yeah, and then that leads to the part in the temple where she passes out due to the lullaby magic spell and she's asleep and they can't wake her up to defeat the enemy. So they just like illusion a rock to look like meat and it's like, Charmy, this guy's trying to steal your food. What? It's like, nope. And then she one-shots the guy that the other two can't even like hurt. Oh, Charmy, you're the best. But yeah.
Anyway, Falcon is a giant Charmy fan.
Charmy's the best. If you're not watching Black Clover for Charmy, you're not watching Black Clover for the right reasons. Just saying.
But anyway, so they get to the underwater temple and they go. It's like a nice friendly area. They go to the temple, meet the guy, and it's like, all right, I'll give you the magic stone, but we have to play a little game. Ooh. It's gonna be a fight.
Don't get visitors because no one can ever make it there. So they try to play games with visitors.
9 versus 9, or was it 10 versus 10?
It was 9v9. Yami would have been
right, because Gordon would have technically been the 10th if he was there. Yeah. There was actually that funny Petit Clover where it was the elephant guy, like, who's the imposter? And it's the elephant.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, so the whole deal was Yami that he felt was too strong. They felt like he would just kill all of them. So the head guy made Yami sit out with him and watch the game. And everyone else was there, and it was whichever team was the last one standing. And
technically Charmy did get out, the first one out, because she fell asleep. But they actually took out a lot of guys. They took out a few guys.
They took out most of them. Like, they were about to win until Veto crashed the party.
That's right. So the Eye of the Midnight Sun crashes the party. Veto and some people come. I think it's Veto and 4 others. That's right, 4 others. Yeah. And one of them goes to keep like Yami like stuck like in the song so he can't help.
Yeah.
And it's just like crazy because you have the super strong guy, and the first ones to fight him is the son of the guy
and Kahono's dad.
And Luck and
he got like one shot pretty much. He was
Luck
just like
and Magna. Yeah. And Battle's like taste despair, despair. And we actually see some backstory, which is kind of different. It's kind of a little bit of different backstory about how like Magna and Luck became like friends and how like you're truly like my first friend and stuff. And it was really sweet. And I see their combination magic, even though it really didn't do anything and it gave them everything they got. But it was really cool.
It was impressive. But yeah, like it still didn't scratch it. Because he blocked it at the last second.
That was a really good episode. That was a really good one.
Yeah, I like how like these two have never liked each other, and they both kind of come to a realization that over time, even though they've never been like fans of each other and get annoyed with each other, they finally realize like Magna, I think, said that Luck is his best friend, and Luck says Magna is his first friend. But yeah, they have that really cool combo attack that unfortunately just got blocked.
You mean the Magna tornado and how they showed us how to do it in real life and that Petit Clover?
First off, you need electric magic. Not everybody can do that.
You need your own Magna.
Yeah, and then at the end he's like, "Oh, you'll have to find your own Magna." It's like no one. Yeah, that was fun. But you find out Luck essentially throughout the years is just tormented Magna. By the end of it, they've built this like closeness or whatever. That was
Pretty
cool.
sweet. It was nice to see a thing that wasn't about Asta for once, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
While this is going on, the rest of them are fighting the others, Midnight Sun people who came in with Feto. And we don't really see a lot of the fight. We see Ghost doing some of the fight with the
Gosh takes out one of them, Vanessa takes out one of them, and then Charmy takes out the last one.
Yeah.
And then Yami takes out the fourth one eventually, but that's like later.
And then after Charmy takes out the last one, she cooks up food because they're all out of mana. So
the
only
here's
time
another
that
fun
cooking
fact.
makes sense is they're eating food so they can hopefully get mana back.
Here's another fun fact, actually. Gosh, Charmy, and Gray were not supposed to be there at the final fight.
I read that a minute ago. They show up at the end to like help assist, but apparently in the manga they stopped after they beat up the third guy.
Yep. I think that was a nice addition in the anime. I personally like it. I'll go into detail about that later. But so basically Luck and Magna do not do good. They do like they like use all their magic to like a really good combo attack, not the Magna tornado, but like a good like fire and electric spell. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. And then Asta and Kahono's brother comes. We haven't talked about him yet. He's a dancer. He wants to be a dancer tag team with his sister.
Yeah, she wants to be the vocals and he'll be the dancer. And we see that this is what they've done like their whole life. Like they've always wanted this to happen. And Feto just takes off dude's leg.
Takes off his leg.
Just like boom, done. And then he goes to the girl and just like stabs her right.
We haven't gotten that far yet. What are you talking about? You're jumping a little bit ahead of yourself, man. I know we're almost at the good part. Trust me.
We are, but also like time-wise, we've got to start roping some stuff in. We can't talk about every little thing that happens in Arc 5, unfortunately.
But I want to. How dare you be busy on a Saturday?
You're busy on a Saturday too.
I have actual responsibilities. You're gonna go play tabletop games, you nerd.
Yeah, it is an hour away.
Jesus. All right, let's just skip to so stuff happens, and then Veto almost dies, but he doesn't. Cuts his limb off, uses ancient beast magic. Then we get to the good part. Here we go. I love this part the first time watching because it was so clever. Woo! So Vanessa comes, Finro comes, and they do a thing. Oh, Falcon, why don't you explain the thing? Because I know you think it's as awesome as I do.
All right, so pretty much Asta's trying to fight Veto, but Veto's pretty much faster than him. He can't really do much damage. So Vanessa comes in after she's finished fighting with her guy and finds out where Asta is. She comes in and she's going to help him. So she connects her strings or threads to him and it's kind of helping move him around to make him move faster and kind of help him like dodge and move around. So he's doing that and he's making some progress. But then Yami notices that Veto's kind of stopped attacking and realized that Veto's trying to like figure out their speed and their timing so he can counter them. And pretty much like, yo, you can't keep doing this or else he's going to match your speed and timing and you're going to die. And that's when Finral finally like mans up and's like, all right, I got this. So then Finral just starts opening all these like spatial magic portals and they're just
so good
whipping him in and out of portals and like doing all this stuff to try to trick Veto, and it's working. And then he starts kind of catching on to that. So they have to go even faster. And so they're just going crazy. And it was really, really cool to see like crazy spectacle. Although I don't like Finral's like hand movements he does to do all the little portal things. It's just like da 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 da, and it's like okay, they got kind of annoying, but
that's what he has to do. That's not nice. You're not nice.
I mean, they could have given him some cooler movements, but yeah, it's just him like doing this the whole time. But I get that's how he has to do it, but it doesn't.
But you forgot to cross the hands, like.
Oh yeah, you cross the hands at some point.
I bet you didn't like it when I like focused on the hands only. I bet you.
No, it got on my nerves. Like if it would have just been like his whole body, or like we just saw like more of him, it'd be fine. But yeah, you just constantly see.
The reason why I like this part is because it's really nice to see like a good combination magic, and this is like one of the best, like most unique ones you could ever say. I'm not sure how the future of Black Clover is, but I feel like this would probably be one of the most unique ones ever. Basically, also being pulled through strings and being pulled through portals and just going faster and faster to take out Veto. It's just really great. And it's just really amazing and beautiful. And it was a really good fight. And then the freaking first opening plays. Remember that part? Well, you
Yeah.
know when the opening place is about to go down, and you ask to spit some facts. He's like, yo, you're about to despair. But out of everybody here, who actually despaired? Nobody despaired.
Yeah.
Despair, you lost. And he
Told
hits
him
him.
like, you haven't won anything. None of us have despaired at all. Like, we've all stayed hopeful.
That was so badass of Asta right there. You got to admit that was awesome. I know you don't like Asta. You have to admit that was awesome though.
Yeah, that's fine. But I guess one of the things we I think it happened technically before Vanessa and them started, or maybe it was after the thing with Noelle.
The thing with Noelle, which uses the magic.
Yeah. Was that before they started the team attack?
That was when he cut off his arm. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So there's at one point Asta kind of gets knocked out by Veto, and Noelle's the only one there on the scene at the time.
And you'd be like, oh,
Noelle's still like able to do anything. I should say there's other people there, like Luck and Magna are passed out. The dad of Kahono is passed out. Kahono and her brother had just been injured. And it's Noelle's the only one left. So she ends up trying to use an attack magic spell, which she has never used before. She's only really done like defensive spells. And she's like, all right, I'm just going to let go. She figured out when controlling her magic, she was trying to control it too much or restrict it too much. So she was like, all right, I'm just letting it out. And she just summons this huge, giant water dragon that just shoots out and like cuts off Veto's arm and then like breaks through the wall and through the magic barriers.
I thought it took Veto with them the first time I watched it.
I did too. I was like, holy crap. And she just like one shot him out of there. And then it's like, oh, okay, no. It just took off his arm. But yeah, the way they did the animation, it looked like he almost could have just like gotten annihilated.
Yeah.
All the villagers start calling her like the sea goddess because I think something that strong could only be summoned by a sea goddess. But then that took like all her mana, and then the arm comes back. But it bought enough time for Vanessa and Finral to get there and to.
That's when all the awesome hand moments, your favorite part, happen.
My favorite part, the hand movements.
Yeah, and then Yasta seems to win, but he actually doesn't because Veto's gonna do like a really big explosion. But that's when Yami comes. He's like, "Hey, you all did a really good job. Sorry, I'm late and stuff." Blah 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 blah. He comes in. He uses his new move. What was it called? The cross-dimensional dark slash, and literally like cuts him, and that cuts him in half.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was great. It was definitely a team effort. You would say Asa really did pull through though a lot. Everyone pulled through. It was a big team effort. It was great. It very
much was a team
and
effort.
Something I do want to mention real quick. I'm sure you need to get going, and we got some last.
I got a few more minutes. It was just the way we were going, like point by point. I was like, we're gonna run out of time if we keep doing that.
Basically, something that I really liked. You mentioned before that like the Black Bulls are like the laziest. They're not used to like praise. Like they didn't know about like the ranks and stuff. That's because they never really gotten like praise before or anything. Like
right.
they got like a negative like 100 or something stars. Then like at the end, after they're all winning, they're all resting. All the villagers come and congratulate them, and they're like, "This is a weird feeling," and you know, I think that
they kind of like it.
They kind of like it. So I think that's like a push for them to like try to be better And I think from now on it's gonna be good. I especially know it's gonna be good because I know what happens after a little bit. So look forward to that stuff. It's gonna be good. It's good. Arc 5, best arc.
I honestly would be fine if they had like a time lapse where you're just seeing like scenes of them like going on missions and like just seeing like snippets of it and just seeing them like getting all these stars and like recommendations to where
I wouldn't say it's like that, but everyone's gonna come together for a reason. You'll see what that reason is. Well, I guess before we do our ratings, is there any last thoughts you want to put in?
Arc 5 is definitely the best arc so far. If the rest can keep it up, my opinion on the show might change. As well, I liked Arc 5. Arc 4 was kind of like the first 3 arcs to me, just a little bit different with different characters. It's definitely, I feel like, improving a little bit here and there. I liked some of the new magics we've had, so I'm looking, whenever we watch it again in a few weeks, it'll be fun to see what other new magic types we run into.
Lots of unique ones. Yep.
Yeah. Charmy's magic is cotton. Like, okay, like they're picking like some really random stuff to use for some of these people.
I'm excited to see Gordon's curse magic when it actually happens.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just ridiculously overpowered or what, because we still haven't seen it. We don't know if like no one's ever really talked about it. We just know he says his curse magic.
I don't even know what it's like from what I've seen. So
that'll be fun to see. Otherwise, I don't have any like closing thoughts. What about you? Do you have anything else?
How about would you say? I mean, we don't have to like rate it, but would you say are your ratings changed? Would it go higher or lower, or say the same as a static 5?
I would say probably. So we said it a little bit earlier, but I listened to the last podcast to make sure we knew what our ratings were. I gave it a 5. Condor gave it a 7.
I did. I did.
I would be willing to give it a 6 purely because of Arc 5.
Hell yeah.
But so it's not gone up much, but it's gone up a little bit. If it stays consistent like Arc 5 or better, I could see it eventually moving up more. Maybe I might move that up to a 6.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move mine up to an 8 because I really liked Arc 5.
We both went 1 point.
We'll go up a point. Yay! Black Clover, you're doing good, man. You're making Falcon like you a lot.
I want to say a lot, but
I don't know. You laughed. You really like all the comedy scenes.
Some of the comedy scenes are really good, but a lot of those are like after the credits roll kind of deal. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, but the comedy scenes do be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this thing. Why don't you give us our little where people could find us, Falcon? I know you like to do that.
So yeah, well, I mean, it just lets people know. So if you want to interact with us, we have a Discord you can join. Link is in the episode description. You can find it there. Click it. It'll take you to our Discord. That's pretty awesome. We have a lot of fun people in there and have some fun times chatting around. You can also find us on Twitter at BirdBroPod. You can follow us there to get updates on episodes if it's going to be late, if it's going to be postponed for a week, if we have like stuff to do, which doesn't happen too often, but that's where you'll go. You'll also get notifications when the new episode is up. And as always, share us with a friend. Let them know. We're on most podcast services, definitely all the big ones. So they can find us there. Condor, do you have anything you want to add, or shall we go into the next week's topic?
Let's just get into next week's.
So we're doing things a little bit different this next week.
Also, Gray is a girl.
Gray is a girl. We did. How do we leave off the Gray? Anyway, yes, Gray is a girl and not the big giant guy who just goes, but she hates people seeing her. So that's why she's always somebody else. Show for next week. We're doing things a little different. I've narrowed down my topics to 3 or 4 choices, and I can't decide. So I'm going to give Condor a brief description here, and he will tell me which of those he thinks sounds the most interesting, and that will be how we determine what we watch.
Okay, I'm excited.
Right.
Give me the descriptions.
Okay, so the first show is kind of like a police kind of almost detective-y kind of show that deals with cars. The second is a show that I've heard can be is very hit or miss. Some people like it, some people hate it. It's like high school setting with space and very much power of friendship, everything. The third choice is one I've not heard a ton about, but seems like it could be interesting. But apparently it can be very cringe and very memey. So memey can be a win, but cringe, maybe, maybe not.
A lot of good choices. So we got police with car. Oh, there's a fourth choice?
One more. The fourth one is one I have seen before. And I was going to wait longer to rewatch it, but if it's one that sounds more interesting to you, we'll go on and watch it. It is default 100% like detective show, 2-part detective episodes, some cool fighting. But yeah, so we've got kind of like police show that deals with cars. We've got a very power of friendship, hit or miss space show. We've got the possibly memey and cringy one, or we've got the hard-boiled detective show.
You know what I'm going to choose?
Which one?
I hate to do it to you, man, but I think it's time for some cringe. I'm choosing choice number 3.
Okay.
What are we watching, Falcon?
We are going to be watching Kamen Rider X-Aid.
What? We're watching Kamen Rider?
We're going to do a little different. Just wanted to see it out. I've been wanting to watch a new Kamen Rider for a while and have had trouble picking. So I was talking with a friend. He told me some of the ones he recommended for new people. One of which I had already seen. And then the first one, the more like cop show. But I was also like, I don't see you liking more like cop kind of shows. And then the other 2 in the middle are 2 that just knowing what I've heard from other people say
These
about
were all Kamen Rider.
More Condor ones. Yeah, they were all Kamen Rider.
Oh my God, you tricked me. I feel betrayed.
You don't feel betrayed. But yeah, we're going to watch the first 24 episodes. I think it's a 48 episode series.
Oh, okay.
So we'll watch the first 24.
Where do I watch Kamen Rider?
I'll send you the link.
I can't watch it on my TV.
No, you can't. Sadly,
I have to watch it on my laptop.
But X8, the theme of the Kamen Rider series is video games, so it's kind of like a gaming theme season. So we'll give that a shot. But that will be next week, and we also have surpassed 1,000 downloads.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to the Twitter. We'll be posting more about when we have a date for our live stream we're going to do. We're waiting on some stuff to come back before we're completely ready to go with that. But thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Caw-caw! Caw-caw!